Hey, this is Michael with digitaltshirtshop.com. So I wanted to talk briefly about um, this I've been working on recently, which is called Hope for Rylee. Now, Rylee is a young girl, her related to somebody in my neighborhood, and I'm helping her with a fundraiser. Now, the nice thing is I'm able to put together a website where this individual can sell t-shirts, and then I give her a commission off of all the t-shirts that sell, that she can turn around and then she can in turn use to help her cause, which in this case she's calling Hope for Rylee. Now, originally when I set this website up, I've kind of had a really bland, basic way of setting it up. And I guess part of that's due to maybe people not understanding how to navigate the website. And so basically what I had some links that took them into some categories. And then also I think the categories are probably somewhat childish, and maybe she wanted something that was more adultish that would attract adults more. Um, and so, for example, this is what it actually looked like before. Were just basic links like this. And she mentioned to me that, she wasn't getting quite the interest in it. And would I put some of the more popular items online that would help people with making some selections and some purchases. And so what I've done is over the years, and I've done some other videos on this about getting some models to do pictures for me. And these are some of the modeling photos that I've gotten back. And one thing I'm noticing here is some are dark and some are light. And I actually didn't go through and edit them before I put them on here to make sure that they had some consistency with lighting. Each shoot kind of comes with a different light level. These two were shot together. This one was shot different. These three were shot at the same time. So in different modeling shoots that we've done. Anyways, and then I actually have some more that are toggling through in this header here. It looks like even 3 other modeling shoots that we've had with even other models. Anyways, but the idea was, so in order to help her with her fundraiser, Hope for Rylee, I've kind of pushed this to the bottom of the website, and then at the top added some more of the type of things that seem to have more general interest and appeal. So I'm going to actually go and add some more for her as well. So that there are even some other items that tend to sell well, that makes it easy for that person to click on it in this particular case, and it takes them right into an option to be able to put it on whatever type of shirt that they're interested in buying it on. Or, for example, they could click over here on the side. Sayings and quotes tend to be where a lot of these are at. I think it's easiest to sort it by name. And then from there, they can go through and more easily find. And as I've uploaded products, I see there are a few things that I've accidentally uploaded something that's not really a printable product, but they're able to go through and find something that interests them alphabetically in here. So anyways, so this is, again, Hope for Rylee, something that I've been doing as helping a person, a neighbor, with a fundraiser. The platform that I use on this is called DecoNetworks. Now, DecoNetworks has its pluses and minuses, its pros and its cons. One of the cons that I think that it has is, for example, so I think that it's fairly good at listing and categorizing things, but when you go into the actual design, display and design and purchase of the product, to me it's always kind of felt a little bit weak. I think the shirt could be bigger. Sometimes I have issues with placement of the graphics. In this case, it's smaller and it's pushed to the top when it would probably sit, a couple inches lower and be a little bit more bold is actually how I would print it. It hides the description about it and sizing information. As far as picking a size is pretty easy and stuff, but more than often I wish that this actually would be much larger. And I know there's some ways to go in and edit it. They've just not been, it's a little more complex than I've wanted to take the time to actually go and do. Originally, now one of the other cons with DecoNetworks is they're based out of Australia. Now they do have US support, but they're based out of Australia. Every time they charge me for my hosting every month, I get a call from the bank because they think that somebody's stolen my credit card because they're charging me from Australia, and my bank can't seem to get it through their minds that this is a reoccurring charge that happens every single month. And the reason why is because they do charge me a small fraction based on the sale in addition to the monthly hosting. So the amount's not exactly the same every single month. DecoNetworks, I mean, it's an expensive website. Pricing wise, I think I pay, I've got this years ago, like 5 years ago, and these websites oftentimes change their pricing year over year. I want to say I pay $179, which was probably this plan that I had. Then they've got a startup fee as well, and I don't recall what the startup fee was when I originally signed up for this. But at the moment, I pay actually less than that due to the time that I signed up. But I mean, it's nice because I can do things like this. I can build a website based on my infrastructure that allows me to help somebody else sell something. And then I can set it all up with different commission levels on the back end. And then anything that's purchased goes right into my printing queue. So I can see who bought what and who, and go through the printing process and mail it and everything. And it's all self-contained on the back end, which is incredibly, incredibly nice. So that's what I use as DecoNetworks. When I first got into direct-to-garment printing, for about the first year, I used this InkSoft. And I had so many problems with InkSoft. I would upload all of these designs, and then InkSoft would drop them all, drop my categories, drop my designs, and I'd have to turn around and start all over again, uploading things. There was only so much of it I could take, and then I just altogether dropped it, walked away, and went and signed up with DecoNetworks. These guys have comparable pricing, and I believe that I don't want to sandbag InkSoft. They were actually very nice people. It's just when you're talking about doing upgrades and things like that and functionality, sometimes it's different for different people. And over time, that infrastructure changes, and I'm sure that they're much, much more improved now. And you can see their pricing is fairly comparable to DecoNetworks. I remember at the time that being an issue that I had to pay that initial setup fee. So it looks like their setup fee on their enterprise plans actually double over here. It's $5,000. But I remember I had to pay that fee twice, and it was different than this at the time. But I just got so frustrated with that one aspect of having to re-upload my items that that was it. So I'm sure that InkSoft is much improved and a much better website than it was 5 or 6 years ago when I first signed up with them. So even though I had a bad experience then, I'm sure that if I was to sign up with them now, the experience would be much, much better than it was back then. This, however, is just, that's $2,000 just to use the platform is a hefty fee to actually get into this. I mean, you get into this, you're committed to getting into it, really, really honestly committed to spend that much up front, just to do business with them. So, but like I said, they were good to work with. It just didn't work out at the time. And I wasn't going to wait around for their platform to change. And I want to say it might have been a year or two that I noticed that they had gone through and done some significant updates to their platform. But if you're into direct-to-garment printing, they may be somebody that you want to consider. I just happen to be with this, and once you put all the time and effort into building it, it's hard to turn around and change. I mean, you really need to have some significant reasons to turn around and upend everything to change platforms. And I'm not at that point with DecoNetworks, even though the monthly phone call from my bank is frustrating. And even though there are a handful of things that maybe I'm not 100% pleased with. But in general, like if you were to take something like this, the whole presentation and ability for me to actually generate sales off of this particular website is a lot just the presentation that I have on it. I admit that, you know, this is one family t-shirt shop that I have on there. Even though that shows a variety, it doesn't necessarily scream buy me to me. I've kind of designed it in a way that it is unique to me and my business. It has some consistency in how I've designed it. However, by adding, like we did over here on Hope for Rylee, adding some other images, adding some modeling shots that give you an idea of what the t-shirt actually looks like on somebody. So these are all actual t-shirts that I printed and then gave to a model and had the model wear versus the graphic layovers, photoshopped images that I have here. And oftentimes in those photoshopped images, your color isn't the true color that it's going to print. In my case, even if you look at these here, your black here is different than your black here, and your black here is different than your black here. One of the reasons for that is when I print black, oftentimes it comes out more of a dark gray than an actual true black. I don't really get a black. I get a dark gray. And it's kind of funny because sometimes when I look at it kind of close, it seems to shimmer a little bit, the type of ink that it is, but doesn't really shimmer, but it just kind of appears to when it's first printed. But I do believe, as I've been doing this and adding these modeling shots on here with some of the more popular items, that really, to me, seems like a better presentation. And as I've been thinking about it over and over, I've been thinking that maybe I ought to go and have category images printed with models and probably get them all done at the same time so that I had some consistent lighting between them. Of an actual category image of somebody actually wearing the shirt might give people more of an interest and clicking on and going into and looking at that particular design or that particular category because they actually saw what it looked like on somebody. I do something, so my other website, which is Latter-day Mission T-shirts.com. Now, these images that I have up here are actual photoshopped images. So you can see here I've got her without the image, her with just the image, and then her with, on that other one, her with an image with text below it. So this actually is taking her to an option where she can actually design and edit the particular product that she wants printed. where the other graphic, so that's photoshopped. This likewise is photoshopped too, and you can kind of tell here that I may have gone a little bit too far over on his chest with my image there. You know, I did multiple layers, and I tried to kind of Photoshop it in a way that it actually looked like it had highlights and shadows like the typical image would have. But to do something like this, where they were actually wearing each of my other shirt designs down here, as opposed to this type of a presentation, I wonder if I would actually get more sales and more click-throughs on some of that stuff by doing this instead of that. And you know, and I guess this all kind of goes to that learning process. Presentation, oftentimes I think, you know, I think the other idea was a good idea at first. It just may not have been the best idea. And always looking at ways that you can improve it and get a better presentation, I think does not hurt. So presentation wise, you know, they talk about ROI, return on investment. What am I talking about? I'm talking about ROI, not ROI is not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking about the actual conversions, where the number of people come to the actual number of people that actually make a purchase. So your conversion percentage. Would my conversion percentage improve if I had a better presentation? Somebody actually saw what the shirt looked like on somebody versus a photoshopped image. Which one's going to cause people to click? Which one's going to give people a better idea of what that shirt's going to look like on them? And this, you know, that's something to consider. And while trying to modify this to help Hope for Rylee be a little bit more successful, it's been making me think about how I've been doing these presentations all along. Now, there is a cost to going and, you know, printing a bunch of shirts and having the model all of them. And in this case, I'd have to get a boy to model some of them. You know, a boy and girl probably take turns modeling different ones. But, you know, there's a cost associated with that. But if those pictures in turn around and increase your sales, and you have a better return on that, and you know, it improves your conversion rate, you're going to have a better return on that investment. That investment in the modeling photos is going to pay for itself down the road. So I don't know, that's something I need to consider. I wanted to talk about that briefly. You know, we're I just realized there's a typo too. Okay, but anyways, I spelled shirts wrong. Anyways, I'll go fix that. And anyways, this was just kind of a little bit of something I was thinking about this morning related to the Hope for Rylee page, the DecoNetworks platform that I'm using, and how I'm presenting, and you know, how I'm affecting my conversion rate on my website based on the types of images that I'm displaying, how I'm presenting my product on my website. So anyways, that's what it is. Again, we'd love to have you subscribe to digitaltshirtshop.com as we discuss some of the things about trying to make our business successful and achieve our sales goals. We'd love to have you follow along with us. Thanks for watching.